I am so tired of you acting like you speak for the people of the state of Indiana or the city of Indianapolis. You do not speak for me or anyone I know. Now listen, you two jerks. Jerks on the right.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Wednesday. It is Wednesday, right? Hump day?
It is.
Muck. Anything happened last night? Anything going on? Anything exciting go on? Let me tell you what's coming up on the show. Of course, we're going to be talking about Trump's address last night and how Dems humiliated themselves because they did. And an MSNBC host sinks to a new low.
More than one even.
Yeah. Just Dems in general sunk to new lows last night. We're going to be talking about all that and so much more. You guys can check us out on all the things. Please do that. chicksontheright.com/links is where you can find all of the things Chicks. And then please subscribe to our podcast, to this podcast. Just click subscribe if you haven't done that already. All you got to do is just use your little finger, little mouse click. Subscribe, do that, and share this with all your friends. Do that. I love the ticker. Department of Retirement Efficiency. Yes, please. Join Bulwark's first 100 days webinar free at knowyourriskradio.com. That's our BFF, Zach. He is the guy that we trust with all things financial. You can do that for this Thursday, March. Is it this Thursday? No, I'm sorry, not this Thursday, but coming up in a couple weeks, Thursday, March 20th at 3:30 p.m. Pacific. He does these often. And there's no obligation. You can just kind of check it out, sniff around, see what's going on. And then if you decide to work with him, you can work with him. But definitely do that. It's knowyourriskradio.com.
You ready to talk some stuff and some things?
I'm ready.
Obviously, we're going to get to, I'm calling it the State of the Union, and like, screw all the people that were like nitpicking at me on Twitter last night going, it's not a State of the Union. It's a joint address. How is it different?
I know.
How is it different from a State of the Union? You tell me.
Listen, it's like SO2 was trending last night. So
right.
Like you say tomato, I say tomato. Just everybody shut up. Can we just not pick about everything?
I mean, it was the dumbest thing to like focus. I just could not believe all the people that were like correcting me because I was like, this SO2 is going to be the craziest ever. There's going to be like Mike Tyson's going to walk in with tigers. Like I was predicting all the things and being silly. And people were like, it's a joint address. Oh my God.
Right.
Just stop.
Yeah.
Just stop.
It's ridiculous. It is. It's ridiculous.
We are going to get to all of that, but there's so much other news too that we have to get to. We have to talk about the horrific PR people that Democrats clearly have working for them and the way that they're messaging now, which is a disaster. We have to talk about tariff. There's just a lot going on. But obviously the State of the Union is the main course, if you will, of this show's meal. And so we will get to it. But first, we're going to get to some other stuff like the tariffs. So that's a big deal right now. Canada's super mad, you guys. Even Pierre Poilievre, who you know I love. I love him, and he's very upset.
Yeah, I do too. I really like him too. Mm-hmm.
He's very upset with America right now, and basically everybody in Canada is super upset, none more so than Justin Trudeau, who tweeted the following after the tariffs went into effect. He said, the moment U.S. tariffs came into effect this morning, so did the Canadian response. Canada will be implementing 25% tariffs against $155 billion worth of American products, starting with $30 billion worth of goods immediately, and the remaining $125 billion in 21 days. Time. And then he did a presser about it. And he said the things to Donald Trump and said that this whole move by him is super dumb.
Now I want to speak directly to one specific American. Donald. Okay. In the over 8 years you and I have worked together, we've done big things. We signed a historic deal that has created record jobs and growth in both of our countries. We've done big things together on the world stage, as Canada and the US have done together for decades, for generations. And now we should be working together to ensure even greater prosperity for North Americans in a very uncertain, and challenging world. Now, it's not in my habit to agree with the Wall Street Journal, but Donald, they point out that even though you're a very smart guy, this is a very dumb thing to do.
So
why are you gay? Why are you gay? Yeah, this guy, I just don't like him. I feel like he's wearing his dad's suit and like playing a role every time he gets on a stage. It's hard for me to watch him.
I saw some folks in here commenting and I saw this from a lot of talking heads yesterday, that it was super disrespectful for Justin Trudeau to call President Trump Donald, and that is a huge sign of disrespect. I mean, I see what everybody's saying, but can we just remember that Donald Trump refers to him as Governor Trudeau? Okay. So I don't think that we should be making a huge fuss over stuff like that.
Disrespect.
It's a little hypocritical on our part to say that when we've got a president who calls him the governor.
And listen,
not that I don't love that, because I do.
And when it comes to the tariffs, I think that Trump is obviously playing the long game here. He even said last night that there's going to be some discomfort. It's going to suck a little bit here and there, but he is playing the long game because we've been taken advantage of for so many years. And, we're going to have to deal with a little bit of discomfort to reap the benefits of what he's trying to do.
Right.
He's a businessman and he understands this. He understands that we have literally been walked over by these people. And right now they're pissed off because they're like, oh, we can't take advantage of you anymore. Well, that sucks, and this is what we're living through right now. So
there could be some pain.
There's going to be
a little bit of pain. So we just don't look at your 401k. That's all I'm saying right now. Don't look at that right now. Now, of course, Trump heard that presser and responded on Truth Social and said, please explain to Governor Trudeau of Canada that when he puts on a retaliatory tariff on the US, our reciprocal tariff will immediately increase by a like amount. If companies move to the US, there are no tariffs. So he is standing firm.
I think he should stand firm. I think that's fine. And any tariff that they put on us, we should put on them. It should just be reciprocal. It should be equal. There's nothing wrong with that. Let it all be equal.
You know how like there's all these Canadians who are like, we canceled our trip to Florida and we're not buying your liquor and so Governor Ron DeSantis also gave his state of the state. And he mentioned Canadians boycotting the United States and said this.
Flock to our state and investment to Florida surge. We continue to set tourism records. 2024 saw more than 142 million visitors come to the state of Florida. This includes 3.3 million visitors from Canada. That's not much of a boycott in my book. Maybe they wanted to get a glimpse of what a Stanley Cup winning hockey team actually looks like.
Oh my God. I do love the smack talk. I do. I love it.
I know. It's all so fun. Really. I mean, it is kind of fun. So we'll see, because there's already rumors that maybe, negotiations are happening behind the scenes and that these tariffs won't be as drastic as they seem to be right now. So we'll see. I mean, this is obviously going to continue to play out and we'll be on top of it. Another storyline that is just making me absolutely crazy that Democrats are running with is that Trump tweeted about school and campus protests, that if you are on a campus and you're threatening people, as we've seen so much of, like on Columbia, at the Columbia University in particular, but others too, he has had it with these protests. And because he has had it, people are saying that he is trying to squash the First Amendment, which is so freaking stupid. But here is exactly what he tweeted. He said, quote, all federal funding will stop for any college, school, or university that allows illegal protests. And I have to scream that word because nobody's noticing it. He said agitators will be imprisoned and or permanently sent back to the country from which they came. American students will be permanently expelled or, depending on the crime, arrested. No masks. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
And the destruction of property too. A lot of these kids are destroying these colleges, these universities.
Right.
Nobody's paying attention to that either. These asshats are destructive.
And people are saying, they're glomming onto this, saying that he's what he's saying is against the law because he's silencing protest when he very specifically said that he's talking about the illegal behaviors. My God.
Yeah, I know.
People.
Well, I mean, they want to twist it and then they want to try to make him a dictator, which he's clearly not. He's not.
They are twisting it as much as they can. And Becky Weiss, who you guys may have been following, she is becoming very, very popular on all the social platforms. And we're going to have her on our show probably here in the next couple months. But Becky had the perfect response to all of these nonsense arguments about the First Amendment. Here she is with the takedown.
Hey, just so we're all clear here, there is already a long-standing set of rules, laws, and regulations that define a protest as legal or illegal. This is literally nothing new. Protesting becomes illegal whenever traffic is obstructed or streets are shut down without a permit. Destruction of property, public endangerment such as lighting fires, blocking the entrance to government buildings, infringing on private property. And you can find all of this information on the ACLU website where it details how to make sure that your protest stays legal.
This is not hard.
It isn't, but they make everything hard because they're stupid.
I mean, they are. I mean, that's the thing. The fact that and this is what they just haven't learned. They haven't learned that lying about what Trump is doing is not helpful. It does not gain them any votes to do that because we all can see and we all know what's going on. I mean, there's
a difference between like, you know, a Tea Party rally, right? And burning a city down.
Right. Or harassing students on their way to class, intimidating them. There's a huge difference.
Simply because they're Jewish.
I mean, I can't believe we have to say this out loud,
Yeah,
but
I
apparently
know.
we do.
I know.
I don't know about you guys, but after I watched the entire State of the Union address or joint address or whatever it is that you want to call it, I was exhausted, but also feeling very celebratory because it was an absolute success for the GOP. There's no question about it, but it was really, really late. And so I think tonight I'm going to open up this. I'm going to open up the sparkling wine from RepublicanRed.com.
Yes. Cheers. I will join you.
Celebrate.
I will join you in that. Yes.
This is one I haven't tried yet, so I'm super, super stoked to try it. And if you have not tried wine from RepublicanRed.com, you absolutely should. They are all about making sure to notice the elephant in the room, not ignoring it, not keeping it under wraps, but starting the conversations with family and friends about how you feel about things. It's healthy to do that. And the wine is delicious. So make wines great again is their motto. You can use code CHICKS to get $5 off plus free shipping whenever you buy 4 or more bottles. They have great gift packages and these make great gifts. You can also do a regular subscription to whichever of their wines you most enjoy. So please check it out at RepublicanRed.com. Zelensky is starting to sound a little more contrite. I'm going to ask you to read his tweets.
Oh, I can't wait. I love reading his tweets. It's so fun.
I know you do.
Here we go.
Here is part one.
I would like to reiterate Ukraine's commitment to peace. I bet you will. Yeah, okay. None of us wants an endless war. Okay. Ukraine is ready to come to the negotiating table as soon as possible to bring lasting peace closer. Nobody wants peace more than Ukrainians. Yeah, except you. My team and I stand ready to work under President Trump's strong leadership to get a peace that lasts. We are ready to work fast to end the war. And the first stages could be the release of prisoners and truce in the sky, ban on missiles, long-range drones, bombs on energy and other civilian infrastructure, and truce in the sea immediately if Russia will do the same. Then we want to move very fast through all next stages and to work with the U.S. to agree a strong final deal. We do really value how much America has done to help Ukraine maintain its sovereignty and independence. And we remember the moment when things changed when President Trump provided Ukraine with javelins. We are grateful for this. Our meeting in Washington at the White House on Friday did not go the way it was supposed to be. It is regrettable that it happened this way. It is time to make things right. We would like future cooperation and communication to be constructive. Regarding the agreement on minerals and security, Ukraine is ready to sign it in any time and in any convenient format. We see this agreement as a step toward greater security and solid security guarantees, and I truly hope it will work effectively. Yeah, he didn't write that.
He didn't write it. And whoever wrote it did not use the very important words, I'm very sorry.
I'm
for my
super sorry.
behavior.
Sorry, I was a dick. A disrespectful dick. Sorry, I was that.
He is all over the place because then this morning I just saw a video that he put out saying we're not going to negotiate with Russia for a peace deal.
This is the thing. He didn't.
There's no
write it.
other way it's going to come to an end until both parties are at the negotiation table. I'm sorry, dude, but that's not how negotiation works.
Yeah, you know who wrote that tweet was that chick who was going like this, that ambassador chick, and a team of people. That's who
I
wrote
feel like
that tweet.
if it was her, she would have said, I'm sorry. She would have known to use those words.
I was a disrespectful dick. Yeah. But I
maybe
mean, like
not the dick word.
Okay, maybe not. But it was a team of people that wrote that, and he had nothing to do with it because he's not sorry and he doesn't want peace. He doesn't want the war to end. He doesn't want the gravy train to end. He is a puppet. He is an actor.
And he's not staying on message. Like he has no consistent message.
No.
It's not doing him any favors at all. A couple of different headlines that we need to report, and that is, first of all, that the New York Post reported over the weekend that J.D. Vance's family had to be moved to an undisclosed location after hundreds of pro-Ukraine protesters swarmed him at the ski resort they were at ahead of vacation. And he is now setting the record straight because Jeff Computers, who retweeted the New York Post, said for all the tough talk, these people are wildly, insanely soft, referring to JD. And he was like, these people are such idiots. We had a great time during our weekend in Vermont. We barely noticed the protesters, and almost everyone we met was kind and generous, and Vermont is beautiful. This headline about being moved to an undisclosed location is that we moved our hotel so the kids could have more privacy. We didn't disclose it because the Secret Service doesn't like it when we advertise my location.
Yeah. And
they just make shit up.
Yeah, they do. And I'm sure he didn't want his kids around a bunch of like weirdo lunatic blue hairs. And by the way, the weirdo lunatic blue hairs should go fight the fight in Ukraine. They should be the first ones that are like rushing to get over there with Jasmine Crockett. They should all be rushing over there to fight the good fight. Why aren't they doing that? They shouldn't be in Vermont, you guys. Why are they sticking around in Vermont? Why are they doing that? Yeah, it is weird, isn't it?
It's super weird. We mentioned, I guess it was last week, that Gavin Newsom is starting a podcast, and it's already begun. Like he's already started recording episodes. And interestingly, we learned who one of his guests was. Charlie Kirk is going to be on an episode of Gavin Newsom's podcast, and that is wild to me.
I will actually watch that.
I can't listen to Gavin though, is the problem. His voice makes me crazy.
But Charlie, I can listen to Charlie. He's so great. He's really great. And that's the thing that he is the best at, is talking to liberals.
True.
And being able to set them straight. And I'm sure he annihilated Gavin. I'm sure he did.
Well, but will Gavin leave it in? Like, will that part get edited out? Like, that's what I wonder.
Yeah, I don't know. But a lot of times they don't even realize that they're being schooled. They just don't know because they're just so unself-aware. And Charlie's so good at dismantling the things that they say and putting them in their place and doing it in a way that is actually kind. That's something that I'm incapable of doing. It's an actual, it's true. I mean, like, I know I'm self-aware. And so I know that I can't do that. I just can't. And that's a wonderful talent to have. He has that. And it's a God-given talent. So good for him that he's able to do that and go on his podcast.
It's going to be something. It is going to be something. Also, just a post that absolutely had me in a fit of giggles. And that is that Trump played golf the other day. I don't know if it was yesterday, the day before, or the weekend, or whenever, but he played golf with Casey DeSantis. And she's quite good, apparently, at golf. And so there was a picture posted and, a little summary about their golf game. And somebody said, "Ha, Laura Loomer, sorry this is happening to you."
Oh my God.
Because it has to kill her.
Oh my God.
That this happened.
She's dying inside. She's totally dead. She's in a corner right now, rocking back and forth in the fetal position, looking at this picture. Oh my God, what are we gonna do?
Oh my God. I love it.
I love it too. I think this is great. This is just wonderful. I wonder what the conversation was like too. Like, what are they talking about?
Yeah, I don't know. Because, you know, if it's true that she's thinking about running for governor, he obviously has already thrown his support behind Byron Donalds. And so I don't know. I don't know if maybe she was trying to convince him otherwise.
Right. Or maybe she's jockeying for something else. You never know. You know, politics. Yeah. It's all crazy.
It is crazy. And there is no better example of that than Jasmine Crockett and her staffers. They were trying to like do a spinoff off of the halftime show of the Super Bowl. And I know we're going to get a copyright strike on. Maybe I just won't play the music, in fact. But she tried to, so she played that song and she changed the lyrics so that it was about the state of the disunion. I'm just going to leave it. I'm going to leave the music in so you can hear this ridiculous thing. This is so embarrassing and cringe. And I cannot believe that she posted it like in a way to suggest that she's proud of it. Yeah. But if you missed it, just brace yourselves for the cringe because it's a high level of it.
Oh no. It's a cultural divide. I'm going to get it on the floor. You really about to do it? 40 acres in the mule. This is bigger than the music. You really about to do it? Yeah, they tried to rig the game, but you can't fake influence. They get on it like that. Hey, I'm tripping, I'm sliding, I'm riding through the back like bro. Must have on a beat, bro, deep boat, any rap. He a freak though, man down, call an ambulance, tell him breathe. Let him boys
Oh my god.
That just
so embarrassing.
I'm embarrassed for Texas. That's what I'm really embarrassed for Texas because this is not representative. You know what I mean? But it just shows you that so many of these congressional people think that they are celebrities now. They think that they're rock stars and celebrities. And it's like, no, you're not. Like, stop it. Just stop.
And it's the cringiest of behaviors that gets them that elevates them into these celebrity type of positions. Right. She's probably going to run for president. And as our friend Xavier, as we talked to him last weekend, Xavier DeRusso was like, we got to be watchful of her because people are dumb enough to vote for that idiot.
Yeah. Because it's like listen, I hate to make the comparison, but on our side of the aisle, Trump says the things. He speaks directly to the people. He says the things, and that's what makes him endearing to us. On that side of the aisle, she does the same thing, but in a different way to really dumb people. And so she's endearing to people on that side for similar reasons, but to really low-fo people, you know what I mean? That are like, oh yeah, she's so great, but she's not doing her job. She's not doing a job. She's dancing in a hallway. You know what I mean? It's like she's just spewing a bunch of nonsense, but people latch onto that kind of like they latched onto, any of those people really. Like they latch onto Nancy Pelosi, like they latch onto Kamala, like they latch onto Obama, like they latch onto Joe Biden. I mean, this is what they just hear sound bites and they're like, oh, it's great. They love me. They're going to take care of me. No, they're not. So we do have to watch out for her. We do. Yeah.
I mean, we can make fun of her and she's absolutely mockable to no end, but we have to remember the people that actually listen to her.
I mean, look at the squad.
Unironically.
Yeah. I mean, the squad is still there. You and I, when the squad was like put into power, we thought, oh my God, they're not going to last long. They're still there.
We always thought of them as the laughing stock of the Democrats, but they do have a lot of power and a lot of sway, and it's horrifying.
It's frightening.
And so too is the PR stunt that so many Senate Democrats participated in yesterday. When it first started happening and showing up on social media, there were a few senators, Elizabeth Warren, and I can't even remember who else, but there were just a few of them who apparently had been given instructions to hold a little microphone like the influencers do, and then to recite the same speech and use like, you know, Trump is full of shit and here's why he's not telling the truth. And it was so ridiculous. When I saw it, it was with 3 people, and then it grew to as many as 24. Here is what 3 people looked like.
When I will immediately bring prices down starting on day 1.
That ain't true. That's what you just heard. Since day one of Donald Trump's presidency, prices are not down, they're up. Inflation is getting worse, not better.
So you get the idea, right?
Wow. It's propaganda.
Oh my God. And whoever thought this was a good idea to have everybody have the exact same speech was really dumb, because then it just looks like you have a coordinated message and no, you cannot think like individuals. But then it grew to, again, like I said, 24 people. I mean, look at this nonsense.
Unbelievable. And they're doing it in the same way too.
Right. With holding the little mic.
Holding the mic, like sitting on a chair in their office kind of a thing. But it also, it makes you think about all the times that they've done that with the legacy media. Whoever's calling the shots, they've done it with the media too, because we've played clips and I've put stuff on our Instagram. I know you've done it on Twitter, where they've had instructions. These people have had instructions to say, hey, say it's a constitutional crisis now.
Right.
Okay. Yes, master. Yes. And then they all do it. Right. They all do it. And it's not, they do it all the time. Like every other day, they're given instructions of what to say. It's all freaking propaganda. They are sheep. They're sheep.
It's just, it was a really bad look. It just made them all look so, not coordinated, but like, what's the word, where it's just manufactured. Nothing about them is authentic. Nothing is authentic. And it turns out that it was Cory Booker who wrote the script. Cory Booker. So we know who to blame for that fiasco. It was not helpful.
But who's giving him the orders? Like, is it still Obama? Who is it?
I mean, I guess it would. I mean, Chuck Schumer would not have thought of a social media campaign. So I don't know. I don't know who is deciding that this is a good idea.
That's what I'm wondering too. Like, because listen, during the past 4 years when Biden, Weekend at Bernie's, Biden was in charge. We all knew it was pretty much Obama. Is Obama still calling the shots? Like, that's what I'm wondering. Obama, Susan Rice, like who is it? I guess they're still doing it, right? Because who else are they going to look to? They're so used to looking at the same gaggle of people, right? It's crazy.
It is bananas. Also, before we get to the State of the Union, because I promise that's going to be the very next segment, we just had to show a couple of clips from The View that were really, really interesting, because Stephen A. Smith was on yesterday, and so too was KJP. Separately. They were not on the show together. They were just on the same episode. And it was very, very interesting to listen to Stephen A. Smith, who I'm not a fan of, but sometimes, he's like a broken clock, right? And he was talking about the mandate that Trump has this election cycle, the mandate that he won this election with. And Joy did not want to hear it, but Stephen A. Smith was telling her what's what?
He's only been in office for 6 weeks. Seems like 6 years, doesn't it? And he's been going around with his cronies touting his so-called landslide and blowout win. But he won the popular vote by 1.5%, one of the smallest ever. And he won the general election by less than 50%. So what kind of mandate is this really?
Well, it is a mandate, and I'm going to explain why. And I don't mind the question, but let me be very clear. I'm no supporter of Trump. I'm a supporter of truth and the facts. And here's the facts. The man won every swing state. He increased in terms of his voter turnout in his favor from the standpoint of blacks, Latinos, and young voters. He increased his numbers in that regard from 2020. 89% of the counties shifted to the right. That's a mandate. We can sit up there and play around all we want to. In 2020, Trump didn't win the popular vote. He didn't win the electoral college vote. A matter of fact, the Republicans hadn't won the popular vote, if I remember correctly, since 2004. But they did this year. So 20 years after they last won a popular vote, they won the popular vote. They won the electoral college vote. The man won every swing state. And on top of it all, 89% of the counties shifted against. I don't understand how people can look at that and say, there's no mandate. There's a mandate.
Well, it's a different definition of a mandate, I guess.
But the problem is that if you're the Democratic Party and you lost 49.8% to 48.3%, and you're looking at that 1.5% dip, that's an excuse for you to say, what we did really wasn't that bad.
Some people didn't
we should continue to do that. Don't continue to do it. Find a new strategy.
Yeah, he's 150% correct. But they're going to continue to dig their heels in. And
right, which is exactly what KJP did when she was on a few moments later. I wished so much that they had been on together because he would have annihilated her. But she had the benefit of being on her own and having the last word. And here is how she tried to spin.
Stephen was leaving. She said, nice to meet you, nice to meet you. I disagree with you.
Yes, I do.
And I was curious, and so that's why I was curious.
I do, on the mandate, on Donald Trump and his administration having a mandate, and we have to be super mindful and careful of this because he does not have a mandate. And what I mean by that is if you look at the numbers, just look at the facts. He won with the smallest margin of the popular vote since the 19th century. There was no coattail, meaning that it is the House is at a razor thin, and he's on his way in the first 100 days to be the most unpopular president in their first 100 days. That is not a mandate.
In 70 years.
In 70 years.
There was man is in there.
Well, that's questionable.
Wow.
It's astounding to me how much they are just going to dig their heels in. And listen, this is the same party that they're going to do stuff like, hey, let's keep shoving men in women's spaces and women's sports. Let's keep fighting for the right to cut kids' genitals off. You know, they're going to keep doing the wrong things. They're going to keep digging their heels in, and we will keep winning. I am okay with it. I'm okay with it because they have no self-awareness. They just can't. They're like narcissists, complete narcissists that cannot look inward and go, what have we done wrong? There is a mandate. There's an absolute mandate. These are people that do not live in the real world. And they don't have problems like we have problems. They're not suffering the consequences of the elite like we do. So keep doing what you're doing.
Yes,
and
please.
And we will just keep winning.
Don't listen to Stephen A. Smith. Just ignore him.
Just don't do it. It's going to be a good next 16 years if you keep doing what you're doing because y'all are crazy.
So crazy. Okay, you guys, it is time to get into the State of the Union, but not before we very, very excitedly tell you that one of our favorite, bestest, most awesome sponsors is back with discounts for you. And that is our friends at fastgrowingtrees.com/chicks. I could not be more delighted about this. If you're new to hearing about Fast Growing Trees, you should know that it is the largest online nursery of plants. And if you are not a green thumb person, and we are decidedly not.
No, we're not.
It makes you having a yard, you having indoor plants, you being able to do the things that green thumb people can do so easy. It starts with when you go to the website and you can pick what zone of the climate you're in, essentially based on your zip code. It will tell you you're in zone, like I happen to be in zone 9, and it'll tell you here are what plants work best in your climate. And then, so if I want like a shrub or some sort of a bush, I know that I'm only going to see the ones that are going to be successful in my area. So I just ordered a bunch of azaleas because my husband, my husband wanted azaleas so bad, and the landscaper person that we had with our builder wouldn't let us do it because she was like, the deer are going to eat them. Well, there's ways that you can prevent that. And so he didn't get his azaleas, and so I'm getting the azaleas. He's going to have his azaleas. I'm super stoked about it.
That's great. I ordered cactus.
Nice. That makes
I'm
sense
in
for your
zone 8.
zone.
Yeah, exactly. And cactus, it's like really hard to kill them, which is great for me.
Well, and then it's just so nice that you don't have to go to a store and like, you get dirt in your car and all this stuff. They ship everything so nicely. They come with instructions. You can always talk to someone on the phone if you have questions about how to take care of whatever it is that you're ordering. And so this spring, you can get up to 50% off on select plants, and then an additional 15% off of your first buy when you use code CHICKS at fastgrowingtrees.com/chicks. Again, it's fastgrowingtrees.com/chicks. And then don't forget to use the code so you can get your extra discount. They have amazing stuff. I already missed my lilac tree that I had planted in Indy. So I did have plants from Fast Growing Trees there that I no longer see. And so I need new ones, and super excited that they're back. fastgrowingtrees.com/chicks. Okay, let's get into State of the Union. First of all, we need to talk about the big disruption that was planned. Apparently, aside from Al Green, who of course we'll get to, the big plan was to hold up little signs that said Musk steals or false, or what else did they say? Save Medicaid, I think was another one.
Ilhan Omar had one that said, "I married my brother." She had one.
Pretty sure that was Photoshop.
Oh, she didn't? Was that Photoshop? Really? Rashida Tlaib had one that said, "I farted." Is that? There's a bunch that were going. You guys, like, whenever you hold up a sign, expect it to be photoshopped. Okay?
I know, right?
How do you not know that by now? It's the greatest gift you can give to the other side. Whenever you hold up a damn sign, I was just like, "Why? Okay, thank you for
Worst
the gift."
move ever. Worst move ever. But the other big thing that was planned, because they're such rebels, is that they wore pink in honor of women, even though every last one of them voted against women when it comes to having men invade women's sports. So it was ridiculous for them to be
hypocritical.
So they were either wearing pink or they were wearing Ukrainian colors. There was a mix of both. And then when there were certain walkouts, because there were different points of the address where a bunch of people would walk out, Jasmine Crockett, in fact, led a little group of people. And then they took off whatever they, like their blazers or whatever. And underneath, they were wearing black T-shirts that on the back said resist as they walked out, because they're so brave.
Oh my God, stunning and brave to wear T-shirts. Meanwhile, we're paying these people.
Yep.
They're all getting paid.
Oh my God, it was so stupid.
Yeah.
So even CNN was kind of like ripping on them a little bit at the beginning. So they were talking about the plans to like color coordinate. So this is ahead of the address actually starting, but the people filing in, and we're starting to get a glimpse of the pink outfits. And
see, a lot of the Democratic women appear to be wearing pink. And color coordination, we've seen that before when they did white in honor of suffrage one year. But what does this mean?
Unity, I guess, amongst the Democratic Party. Look, I mean...
Were you not provided a messaging?
I didn't wear my pink.
I gotta check the color chart.
Protest and power. It signals protest and power, and there will be some blue and yellow scarves. We know what that symbolizes, the support for Ukraine.
I want to be respectful of the members. They were elected by their constituents, and so I understand why they felt like they needed to be in the room. I think their constituents want more than coordinated colors right now.
Yeah. Yeah, they do.
Exactly. And and don't you think that these people would want them to represent them as Americans? Because I mean, I'm not Ukrainian. Are you Ukrainian? And the whole, like, I just cannot believe that we're wearing pink. And then at the same time, we're going to vote for women. I'm sorry, for men to trample women's sports and women's spaces. Like, that's what they do. These people are the most hypocritical gas bags ever.
So, and there were some people that just plain didn't show. And then they like made these videos explaining why they weren't going to go. And, it's just such an attention whore thing to do.
if we had to stay up and watch it, they should have to stay up. You know what I mean?
Right.
They're getting paid. We're not getting, it's like so frustrating. They just got to stay home and like do a video. No, go do your job.
Yeah.
Do your job for them. It's so disrespectful that they didn't even show up, the people who didn't show up.
And it didn't help them. Nobody's going to look at them and go, "Oh my God, my congressman, I'm so glad, I'm so proud of them for not going." I mean, it's just so stupid.
It's stupid.
So again, before Trump came in, there was this hilarious hot mic moment that took place at the behind the podium, which is of course where the vice president and the speaker sit. And so JD and Mike Johnson had assumed their positions, and they were chit-chatting ahead of the address. And Mike Johnson realized that their mic was hot, but if it's hard to hear, JD is basically saying, "Man, this is 90 minutes. I mean, I expect it to be great, but like, that's a long time. I don't know how I'm going to make it." And Mike Johnson starts chattering back before he realizes that maybe he should put the mic down. Here it is.
By the way, I think the speech is going to be great, but I don't know how you do this for 90 minutes.
The hardest thing was doing it during Biden, when the speech was a stupid campaign speech.
When it was a stupid campaign speech. I love it. That's so great. Oh my God. It was
so perfect.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was. I mean, and it wasn't just about last night was so fun. It was just such a joy.
It was like 2 hours. It wasn't 90 minutes. It ended up being 2 hours. Poor JD. He's like, "I just want to be home, man."
But I think they had a great time. Like my suspicion is that it wasn't hard to get through 90 minutes. It wasn't hard to get through 2 hours because it was lit.
It was
you
a
guys.
great speech. It really was. Yeah.
And then Melania came in and she got a lovely welcome. And I thought she looked beautiful and she was so smiley, you guys.
She was. Here comes Mrs. Trump. She's sitting with her guests.
And this was like the perfect amount of business and femininity, I thought.
She looked beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
Revenge porn victims.
It's just a whole new era for her.
The family that was, the father was killed in Butler, Pennsylvania. So she's sitting with her guests there.
Lincoln Riley family.
That's right.
Lovely.
To answer your question, I wasn't surprised.
And then this is just a shot of like the pink and the
what a dichotomy, right?
Obnoxiousness of it.
Stark dichotomy between, like her and her stunning beauty and elegance, and then that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wah, 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 wah.
So as soon as we get through the pink, then you will hear the very first opening statement of Donald Trump, which was very, very quick and short and perfectly stated. And this was, I thought it was the perfect way to sort of get the speech underway.
Look at what's happening. The Democrats are not even acknowledging.
Oh yeah, and CNN. This is CNN acknowledging that Democrats will not even look at Trump as he's coming
cabinet
in.
Right now. I just don't remember that being standard. At least they would get up and shake their hands.
Just the visual here that
they're not engaging. This is not a pathway forward to bipartisanship.
So disrespectful.
Citizens, America is back.
I love that.
So great.
Perfect way to kick it off,
It
right?
really was. Yeah. And I was listening in the car because the first 15 minutes I was in the car driving back from a banquet and hearing it in the car as opposed to seeing it because I couldn't see like half the people standing and half people sitting.
Right.
And I couldn't, but hearing it in the car, I literally said out loud by myself in the car, I was like, "That's right. That's right." I was so jazzed when I heard that. And how can you not be? And how can you not be excited about that? I mean, I guess if you're a Democrat, you don't
want it to be back. Well, you don't want it to be back. Yeah.
Right. And I cannot wrap my brain around that level of psychosis. I just can't. Why would you not want that?
I mean, I think he was like 2 minutes in before the disruption started, the yelling started, and then Al Green stood up shaking his cane. And it was just obnoxious. And it got to the point where it had to be shut down. And Mike Johnson warned him and then had him escorted out. Here's that moment.
Mr. Green, take your seat. Take your seat, sir. Take your seat. Finding that members continue to engage in willful and concerted disruption of proper decorum, the chair now directs the Sergeant at Arms to restore order.
That's right.
Remove this gentleman from the chamber.
Oh my God.
He's still yelling.
Members are directed to uphold and maintain decorum in the House. Mr. President, you continue.
Thank you.
And then this tweet, I freaking died. Keith Olbermann said, Al Green 28, do what he did or get out, Democrats.
Oh my God.
America has been attacked by dictator Trump. And Kurt Schlichter said, do you ever get tired of being retarded?
That's my favorite. I mean, listen, nothing says resistance like an elderly werewolf with a cane. He's a werewolf.
Oh my God.
Like, prove me wrong. And then you guys remember back in 2009 when Joe Wilson, that was the South Carolina dude. Do you remember when he stood up and he was like, "You lie" to Obama? And you could see, because I can still see it. Nancy Pelosi and Joe Biden are behind him and she's clutching her pearls.
Oh,
and
she was shocked.
And the Democrats are like, "Oh my God, it's so disrespectful. I can't believe he screamed you lied." And actually, he did lie. I mean, when you look back at what he was talking about illegals getting benefits and getting things. And now we know he actually was lying because he was like, "Oh no, they're not going to get the things that you think they're going to get." Yeah. Fast forward to now, they got all the things. So Joe Wilson was saying you lie. And that was such a horrible moment. And then look at them now. Look at how
It's
disrespectful.
changed.
Right. They
We have
are all
devolved.
they. Do we want to call it evolving? Do we want to go?
No, I said devolved. That's what I said.
Right. They totally devolved. I mean, they always accuse us of the things that they do. And then when they do it, it's totally okay because it's Trump, you guys. Yeah.
This next meme had me absolutely screaming because somebody put, I was promised trans mice. I just was dying. I just love people that meme. It's just too good.
That is
too
my
good.
favorite. That is my absolute favorite. He's so mad. So mad about the trans mice, you guys.
And then Trump addressed the Democrats specifically and called them out for not being able to celebrate any positive news about America and told them to their faces, it wouldn't matter if I cured the worst diseases on earth. You will never like anything I say. And it was such a stroke of genius to me that he did it, because then they couldn't stand up and clap for anything he said, which made them look even worse.
Right.
So I totally thought that was like some of that 4D chess that he likes to play. But here he is calling out the Democrats to their faces.
This is my 5th such speech to Congress. And once again, I look at the Democrats in front of me and I realize there is absolutely nothing I can say to make them happy or to make them stand or smile or applaud. Nothing I can do.
That's right.
I could find a cure to the most devastating disease, a disease that would wipe out entire nations, or announce the answers to the greatest economy in history, or the stoppage of crime to the lowest levels ever recorded. And these people sitting right here will not clap, will not stand, and certainly will not cheer for these astronomical achievements. They won't do it, no matter what. Five times I've been up here. It's very sad, and it just shouldn't be this way.
Miserable.
Stroke of genius.
It was genius.
So Democrats sitting before me, for just this one night, why not join us in celebrating so many incredible wins for America?
We can't do it.
For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again. We have ended.
They won't do it. They can't even stand. They can't even stand up for a kid that has cancer.
Well, we'll get to that. So don't jump ahead, because that is a moment, man.
I know.
That was one of the moments.
But that's the thing. They stood up for nothing. Nothing. These people are miserable.
I mean, and he called them out at the beginning, so they couldn't, and it just made them look a zillion times worse.
They could mock, but they won't. They have a choice,
because he basically dared them to. You know what I mean?
And so they could. But they are human beings, and they have a choice. They make a choice every minute of every day, and they could have clapped for things. They could have cheered for stuff. They could have stood up, but they won't. They just won't.
They absolutely won't. He had so many great digs at them too. This was definitely a political address. There was no pretense of it trying to be bipartisan or nonpartisan. It was all kinds of partisan, and it was great. Like when he talked about how the previous administration had weaponized the Justice Department against him.
Weaponized government, where, as an example, a sitting president is allowed to viciously prosecute his political opponent, like me. How did that work out? Not too good.
That was my favorite. I freaking love that. How did that work out for you, losers?
God, it was so good. Oh my God, so good. And then, as always, Nancy Pelosi, who it just had to be killing her that she was not behind the podium, and she was relegated to the regular plebe audience. She was doing that thing with her mouth, and it was weird, you guys. We've got a clip of it. What's happening?
Oh my God. She had another walking cadaver. Well, not even walking. So many. So many canes, you guys. So much batshittery, so many canes. And I just cannot believe Californians are still allowing this person, this walking cadaver or non-walking cadaver, to represent them. Like, what are we doing?
And Maxine Waters is from the same state, right? Isn't she also California?
I think she's Californian too. And she's 84 years old, Nancy Pelosi. 84.
Like, enough already. Go just be in your life.
Go spend the money that you have literally like sucked from the American taxpayer. Just go spend it already. Good Lord.
And I guess there's only so much ice cream you can buy.
I guess so. And $24,000 fridges, I suppose. Yeah.
There was a great moment where Donald Trump recognized DOGE and Elon Musk specifically. And here it is.
Department of Government Efficiency. DOGE. Perhaps you've heard of it. Perhaps. Which is headed by Elon Musk, who is in the gallery tonight. Thank you, Elon. He's working very hard. He didn't need this. He didn't need this.
He's right.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it. Everybody here, even this side, appreciates it, I believe.
I don't think they do. They don't appreciate it. They don't at all. They're pissed off because he's pointing out all of the fraud and the waste and the corruption. He's pointing it all. And they're like, oh, crap, make him stop. And they're holding up the signs that are like, Elon is stealing from us.
Oh, my God.
Really? Oh, my God. Yeah.
Just so dumb.
Mm-hmm.
And then in that, right after he recognized Elon, he also gave a lot of those examples that we've heard about of the waste and the ridiculous programs that our taxpayer money has been going to. And he listed a couple of them. I think this particular clip, someone's added a little bit more of a laugh track to, but it deserves all the laughter because some of these things, as you know, are absolutely insane. Here's just a few.
$1 million to improve the social and economic inclusion of sedentary migrants. Nobody knows what that is. $8 million to promote LGBTQI+ in the African nation of Lesotho, which nobody has ever heard of. $60 million for indigenous peoples and Afro-Colombian empowerment in Central America. $60 million. $8 million for making mice transgender. This is real.
That's not a laugh track, by the way. That actually, people
is
were
that
laughing.
real?
Yeah, because when I was watching last night, I was like, people are laughing at that on our side because it's so freaking absurd. It's so absurd. And like there was one that he talked about, and he was like, nobody knows where that is or what that is. Nobody knows, and everybody was laughing because it's absolute insanity what we're spending money on. How can the left sit there and defend it? And then they're like, he's stealing from us. No, he's pointing the absurdity out. And you guys can't even get on board with that because you are pissed off because he's taking money and he's giving it back to the American people and you want it for yourself because you guys are selfish jerks.
He also, I mean, speaking of the Democrats not standing, and defending all of the ridiculous waste that you just heard, they also couldn't be bothered to stand and applaud things that they campaigned on. So like when you talk about the no taxes on tips, some of the very things that were part of the Democrat platform that they stole, granted, from Trump, but that they campaigned on, they couldn't even applaud for those things. They couldn't applaud for things like prices coming down or balanced budgets. Here's just a few examples.
As you know, we inherited from the last administration an economic catastrophe and an inflation nightmare. Their policies drove up energy prices, pushed up grocery costs, and drove the necessities of life out of reach for millions and millions of Americans. They've never had anything like it. We suffered the worst inflation in 48 years, but perhaps even in the history of our country. They're not sure. As president, I'm fighting every day to reverse this damage and make America affordable again. Joe Biden especially let the price of eggs get out of control. The egg price is out of control, and we're working hard to get it back down. Secretary, do a good job on that. You inherited a total mess from the previous administration. Do a good job. Sure, I want to do what has not been done in 24 years. Balance the federal budget. We're going to balance it.
Imagine not clapping for that.
They didn't clap.
I mean, how do you not? I can't.
They didn't clap. And they also said that it was a lie about the eggs. It's not a lie.
Oh my God.
You heard people screaming, lie, lie. It's not a lie. I mean, you guys, before Biden got into office, eggs were fine. The cost of eggs, it was fine. And then he got into office and they shot up. And everybody knows like what happened during that time. And then there was like all of the chickens were killed. I mean, it's like there's things that have happened over the past 4 or 5 years that have led to egg prices going up. And one of those things is just freaking Biden being in office. So he is trying to fix that. You cannot hold up a sign that says lie and that makes it all go away. And that makes us forget things that actually happened in reality.
Which is where we all live.
Right.
Yeah.
Lord.
He also talked about the ridiculous findings that have been part of DOGE with respect to the Social Security Administration and how many people that are in their 200s are still on the rolls. So as he was mentioning that's when he had this perfect way of introducing Bobby Kennedy. Here's that moment.
1.3 million people from ages 150 to 159 and over 130,000 people, according to the Social Security databases, are age over 160 years old.
Oh my God.
We have a healthier country than I thought, Bobby.
I swear. I love it. But them screaming lie, it's data. You can't scream lie at actual data, but they hate data, right?
Well, I saw even this morning, people were they were putting up like a fact-checked article. I can't remember if it was from CNN or wherever. But anyway, it was a big, giant, long fact-checked article that all of these libs are using to prove that that was a lie, what Trump said. But if you read it, it actually proves his point that we know from a report released last summer that the Social Security overpaid by like $74 billion. And so the point is, you can talk about whether a specific person who is listed at age 300 is still getting a check or not. You fight about that all you want. The point that he is making is that Social Security is being overpaid and wasted in huge numbers. And that is not a lie. And that is the point, and that they keep missing.
And why do they want to dispute that so much? Ask yourselves why they want to dispute that. I don't understand. Like, seriously, somebody's going to have to explain that to me. Because I don't know why they want to die on that hill. Oh, no. Right. They're not wasting our Social Security. The government loves me. Why do you want to die on that hill, Democrats? They're stealing from you. A WTF.
I know. It makes no sense. Okay, so here are those two quick moments where he talks about, this was an interesting one, wanting to, I think it was make interest on cars tax deductible if they are made in America, but then he also addresses the tax on tips. And again, nobody's standing.
Want to make interest payments on car loans tax deductible, but only if the car is made in America.
Why would you not cheer for that? Why?
I'm calling for no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on Social Security benefits for our great seniors.
And they won't.
Well, of course they don't want
that. I mean, what in the world?
Well, I mean, if he was talking about giving benefits to Ukrainians, they would stand.
They did, actually. We have that. That's coming up.
They would stand because it's Ukrainians. But if it's Americans, screw Americans.
Right.
I'm not here for America, man. I'm here for the yellow and blue.
This next line, a lot of people are calling it the line of the night. It had to do with immigration policy, and it was epic.
The media and our friends in the Democrat Party kept saying we needed new legislation. We must have legislation to secure the border. But it turned out that all we really needed was a new president.
Greatest line of the night. Greatest line of the night. Boom.
Oh my God. It was so great. God, it was so good. And then, of course, we started into the phase of the speech that got a little more personal, a little more intimate, and related to some of the guests that Trump had invited. And there was a nice tribute to the Laken Riley family who was there. There was a nice tribute to the Russian hostage who's there with his 95-year-old mom. I mean, we could play them all, but that would be ridiculous because you can go see the whole thing. If you haven't seen the whole thing, you should. But we are going to focus on a couple of highlights. One that was about Jocelyn, the 12-year-old girl who was brutally murdered by an illegal, and her mom was there. And Trump did something really, really nice for Jocelyn's family. And here he is to talk about that.
Of this beautiful 12-year-old girl and the agony of her mother and family touched our entire nation greatly. Alexis, I promised that we would always remember your daughter, your magnificent daughter. And earlier tonight, I signed an order keeping my word to you. One thing I have learned about Jocelyn is that she loved animals so much. She loved nature. Across Galveston Bay, from where Jocelyn lived in Houston, you will find a magnificent national wildlife refuge, a pristine, peaceful, 34,000-acre sanctuary for all of God's creatures on the edge of the Gulf of America. Alexis, moments ago, I formally renamed that refuge in loving memory of your beautiful daughter, Jocelyn. So, Mr. Vice President, if you would, may I have the order?
And her face, she just had tears streaming down her face. God bless her.
What a moment.
Oh, God.
And of course, Democrats are not applauding. They're not happy about this.
Absolutely nothing. Shame on them.
Thank you very much.
I mean,
How?
Yeah.
How do you not?
Same with Laken Riley's mom. Laken Riley's mom. Every time I see her, I just cannot. I
know
that poor woman, and nothing from Democrats. Nothing.
Yeah,
they
ridiculous.
don't give a crap.
They don't, and it was never more disgustingly obvious than it was with DJ Daniel, who's the 13-year-old boy who's always wanted to be a cop, who has somehow for 6 years defied his cancer diagnosis. And this was so precious. I've cut it just to cut out the applause because it takes so long, but you're going to see the most important parts. This is when I lost it because there's always emotional parts in these speeches. This is the one that did it for me.
All tonight is a young man who truly loves our police. His name is DJ Daniel. He is 13 years old, and he has always dreamed of becoming a police officer.
Oh my God. And Dad with his Texas shirt. I love him. I cannot.
But in 2018, DJ was diagnosed with brain cancer. The doctors gave him 5 months at most to live. That was more than 6 years ago. Since that time, DJ and his dad have been on a quest to make his dream come true, and DJ has been sworn in as an honorary law enforcement officer, actually a number of times. The police love him, the police departments love him. And tonight, DJ, we're going to do you the biggest honor of them all. I am asking our new Secret Service Director, Sean Curran, to officially make you an agent of the United States Secret Service.
How do you not stand for that? How?
Everybody in the country should have been doing that. Everybody. We all should rally for this. Every single American.
I cannot.
Oh my God, the hug.
Every time. Oh,
and look at him. He wasn't expecting that. So disarming. I just love it.
And then look at those two. Look at these two hags. She was rolling her eyes, you guys. Debbie Wasserman Schultz and Debbie Dingell. I could not believe these hags.
Absolutely miserable. Yeah, they're awful. They're heartless, soulless hags is what they are.
I just could not believe it. Could not believe that was their reaction. I mean,
Look at that.
Look at this? It's the sweetest photo of all time.
Every single person in America should be clapping for that, like internally or externally. You should be moved by that. If you're not moved by that, something is seriously wrong with you.
Yep.
Like check yourself. Check your heart.
Mm-hmm.
Figure it out.
Unbelievable.
Oh
Unbelievable moment that was. Just the sweetest. Kash got also a nice round of applause, Kash Patel. And then President Trump announced that the FBI, DOJ, and CIA have extradited one of the terrorists responsible for the murder of those 13 American service members at Abbey Gate. So he very, very excited that he was able to announce one step closer to justice for those heroes. Remember how Biden had always promised justice and then just like never said their names ever?
Didn't give a shit. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
God bless Kash Patel. Yeah.
Yes. Another great moment with Jason Hartley, who is a senior in high school who has had a long-term dream to be in West Point. And so President Trump made that dream come true. And then the best moment, of course, was when DJ came over to high-five him. And then I lost it all over again. I cannot with the speech. It is so sweet.
We're joined tonight
and once
by
again,
a young
miserable.
man, Jason Hartley, who knows the weight of that call of duty. Jason's father, grandfather, and great-grandfather all wore the uniform. Jason tragically lost his dad, who was also a Los Angeles County Sheriff's deputy when he was just a boy, and now he wants to carry on the family legacy of service. Jason is a senior in high school, a six-letter varsity athlete, a really good athlete, they say, a brilliant student with a 4.46, that's good, GPA. And his greatest dream is to attend the U.S. Military Academy at West Point.
Good for him. God bless him. What a wonderful moment for him.
And that's a very big deal getting in. That's a hard one to get into. But I'm pleased to inform you that your application has been accepted. You will soon be joining the Corps of Cadets.
I mean, what a cool thing for that kid.
Wow.
That's a core memory.
And then look at DJ. I cannot.
Oh my God. He's like, way to go, man. I'm in the Secret Service. Let's get together. I love them. I just love that whole thing. That whole exchange.
God. So
great. The whole night.
I mean, everything. So great.
That was great.
And then there was the moment that you referenced earlier. You were like, Democrats will stand if it's about Ukraine. And Trump talked about the fact that this has been this protracted war, and we have spent so much money, poured so much money to Ukraine, which the Democrats finally cheered for. And that's when he called out Pocahontas.
Support Ukraine's defense with no security, with no anything. Do you want to keep it going for another 5 years? Yeah, you would say Pocahontas says yes.
They show her face. God, what a hag.
Why is she clapping? What the hell is that?
Because she's basically she's pro-Ukraine and anti-America. That's why she's clapping. It's like the only time she clapped the whole freaking night. I swear to God, these people are awful. They are anti-American. If you can't see that from last night, how anti-American and pro-other country they are, I can't help you.
Yep. Also, he had to mention Greenland, which the way that he talked about Greenland was tactful and yet also mildly threatening, but in this hilarious way. Here it is.
Also have a message tonight for the incredible people of Greenland. We strongly support your right to determine your own future. And if you choose, we welcome you into the United States of America. We need Greenland for national security and even international security, and we're working with everybody involved to try and get it. But we need it really for international world security. And I think we're going to get it. One way or the other, we're going to get it.
One way or another. We're going to get it.
Oh my God, that was great.
It was
And
awesome.
then his closing. I mean, I don't know how you just couldn't end the night on a total, champagne busting open high when you heard his closing, because it was like one of those soaring closings where you just can't help but feel so much optimism and pride in your country. At least our side of the aisle can. Here is, I did cut it a little bit because it went on. It's long, but here are the main parts.
Our greatest era. With God's help, over the next 4 years, we are going to lead this nation even higher, and we are going to forge the freest, most advanced, most dynamic, and most dominant civilization ever to exist on the face of this earth. And through it all, we are going to rediscover the unstoppable power of the American spirit. And we are going to renew unlimited promise of the American dream. Every single day, we will stand up and we will fight, fight, fight for the country our citizens believe in and for the country our people deserve. My fellow Americans, get ready for an incredible future, because the golden age of America has only just begun. It will be like nothing that has ever been seen before. Thank you, God bless you, and God bless America.
And then he's just like, bye.
The beginning of
loved
it. The whole thing was poetic. If you haven't seen it, I hope most of you have, but if you haven't, I implore you to go watch it or listen to it again, because it was poetic. And he talks a lot about the people who founded this country and what grit they had and how tough they were. And I think that we're so far removed from that now. It's one of the things that I want so badly to teach my kids and I hope they know that, because, kids today are kind of soft. And I think I was thinking about that as he was talking about the founders and talking about who came to this country and the pioneers, and like how they were just cut from a different cloth, like,
oh my God,
we're so soft now. And I hope that they understand where they come. My kids understand where they come from, you know what I mean? And who those people were and how freaking tough they were. And that is what I think of when I think of America and Americans. And it's just so important for them to understand that. I don't know. That part of the speech, that's what I was thinking about last night. I don't know. It may not mean anything to you guys, but that's what it meant to me. And it's important for us to teach our kids that.
I feel like these people did not share your enthusiasm.
What is that on the right? What is that? Is that a Muppet? Jim
It's just
Henson.
members of the joyful Democrat Party. They're very joyful. Did you not know? Can you not see their joy?
They have cornered the market on joy. Seriously, wow, that's God. If you align yourself with that, I'm sorry for you.
Yeah. That's bad stuff right there. Obviously, there was lots and lots of reaction, and Patrick Bet-David tweeted about how the Democrats basically are digging their own graves. They didn't stand up to keep men out of women's sports. They didn't stand up for no taxes on tips. They didn't stand up for no taxes on Social Security. They didn't stand up to lower taxes for Americans. They looked bitter and miserable.
Because they are. They don't look it. They are that.
Yeah. And actually, if you look at any of like the post-speech polling, overwhelmingly, this speech by Americans was received positively.
Yep.
And I think a lot of the normal talking heads, not the craziest ones, but the more reasonable ones, were actually able to sort of look in the mirror on behalf of their own side and recognize they screwed up. And so even Simone Sanders and Michael Steele, they were talking specifically about the ridiculous signs that all the Democrats were holding up. And here's what they said.
Say, well, thank you, Simone.
Can we talk about it?
The bingo signs were killing me. I don't know who thought up the bingo signs, but they should be fired.
They should, because again, to your point, they're very easy to change.
Like, did they not know this? I mean, we've seen this over however many years we've been doing this as, political people. We've seen this done to people in the past. Like, it's happened to Republicans too, where they hold up a sign and then somebody will change it on social media. You're an idiot for doing this. I love that one. It says, I don't know what a woman is.
I know.
Oh my God.
It's so great. Illegals first. I voted against women. America last. I love war. I mean, all of them. It's so perfect.
It was a gift to the GOP. So congratulations. Okay.
And Jake Tapper also recognizing that maybe Democrats did not have a very good approach on this night. Here he is explaining.
It is, I have to say, you can really sense, John King, you can really sense Republicans with a pep in their step and Democrats rather demoralized. I mean, understandably so, given the fact that Republicans control the House, the Senate, and the White House, not to mention a conservative lean on the U.S. Supreme Court. But beyond that, even when Republicans are out of power, you sense like an energy quite often when Democrats are controlling things. The Democrats, not to be cliche about it, but they are in disarray. They do not know how to be the opposition force.
Yeah, I think that energy that you're looking for, that thing is called sanity, Jake. That's what we have that you guys don't. Sanity.
Jessica Tarlov had an analysis. She said, does the opposition ever look good in these things? Hide the signs forever. Clap for normal good things like law enforcement, kids who beat cancer, families that have endured tragedy, iron workers. Ignore the lies most of your time. Post good stuff online and don't shake canes.
Like shaking a rake. He should have just brought a rake. Get off my lawn. Yeah.
And then as always, there's a rebuttal, right? Which is I would never agree to be the person who gives a rebuttal.
Oh my God.
Never come out well.
Especially now.
Yeah. And this time it was Alyssa Slotkin, the reason for my name today. And she, I guess like for how these typically go, I guess she did okay. But I mean, the talking points are all what we've heard before. It's just negative, obstruction-y stuff. And she basically was like, who actually even likes Elon? And I know like everybody that was listening to it on our side was like, I do.
I like him.
I kind of like it.
He's great.
Here she is complaining about Elon Musk.
While we're on the subject of Elon Musk, is there anyone in America who is comfortable with him and his gang of 20-year-olds using their own computer servers to poke through your tax returns, your health information, and your bank accounts? No oversight, no protections against cyber attack, no guardrails on what they do with your private data.
I'm okay with it.
We need a more efficient government. You want to cut waste? I'll help you do it.
No, you're not.
But change doesn't need to be chaotic or make us less safe. The mindless firing of people who work to protect our nuclear weapons, keep our planes from crashing, and conduct the research that finds the cure for cancer, only to rehire them 2 days later. No CEO in America could do that without being summarily fired.
Oh, let's compare the federal government to a private company, lady. Let's do that. You want to do that? Okay.
I saw somebody posted, this was like a couple weeks ago when all the hullabaloo about Elon and like having access to private information was the main story of the day. And someone posted this like comprehensive list of how many unelected bureaucrats actually do have access to your information all the time. Whether it's your banker, whether it's your kid's school.
Oh, of course.
I mean, it's like the list is endless.
I posted a kid on Instagram like weeks ago that just talked about the things that you have to just every single day, every day that you're just like, here's all my personal information that people do every freaking day. And then now they're like, oh my God, but Elon can't have it. Elon is, I'm out. But that dude over there that I don't know, here, just take it. Shut up, Democrats. Come on.
I know. It's just absolutely ridiculous. Of course, we had to have some analysis from Scott Jennings.
Night for the opposition party, regardless of how well she just spoke. It started out with Al Green getting thrown off the House floor because he couldn't keep his emotions under control. Then they had the ridiculous paddles, which now social media is roasting.
That you said false on one side. And
ridiculous.
Elon on
and
the
then
other.
finally, and maybe most terribly, the Democrats who couldn't find it in their heart to stand for objectively good things, including the 95-year-old mother of Mark Fogel and Mark, who got rescued from a Russian prison, and they couldn't even stand up for that. I thought Democrats came into this speech lost and defeated by Donald Trump. And today it looks to me like they're even more lost and even more defeated than when this speech started.
Who, by the way, that 95-year-old, did you see how good she looked?
Oh my God, I commented the same thing.
Oh my God.
Amazing.
Is it just me? But she was fabulous, that woman.
Yeah.
I was like, I want to look like that when I'm 70.
I want to walk like that right now.
She is gorgeous. Somebody needs to tell her she's gorgeous.
Yeah, she looked amazing. And to put a fine point on Scott's point, which is that Democrats are in terrible, terrible shape. And like, what is even happening to them? This was an amazing tweet, or retweet, I should say, from Christopher Rufo pointing out Bill Kristol, who used to be a conservative, how crazy the left has gone. This is a perfect example of it. Bill Kristol said, stand with trans Americans. You don't have to understand everything about the trans experience to know that Trump's acts of humiliation and dehumanization are unjust and dangerous. And Rufo had perfect point to that. He said, I find it fascinating that so many of the Never Trump intellectuals initially opposed him on the ground of conservative principles, but gradually and without explanation changed all of their principles so that they now oppose him on purely progressive grounds.
It's so true. It's
so true.
Christopher's totally right. And plus, Bill, are you not telling us something? Something going on, Bill?
What's
going on?
Let us know about.
It puts the lotion on or it gets the hose. What's going on, Bill?
Oh my God. So a lot of the Democrats who walked out, and there was a lot of them. There was Jasmine, there was Max Frost, there was Ayanna Press. I mean, so many of them walked out and they all made their little selfie videos to explain it. All their selfie videos to explain it were based on lies. Here's a great example of just one. And it was that Jayapal lady.
Yeah,
oh my God, I know. Just try to get through it.
I just walked out of Trump's address, joint address to Congress. I went there because I was insistent that I wanted to hear directly from him what he had to say. But after hearing him spew lie after lie after lie,
what lie?
Racism and xenophobia
oh my God.
at the center of everything.
Oh my God.
And I'm going to insist that we stand up for our constituents, for the American people across this country, and fight back so that we can make sure we're delivering for working people everywhere.
But you're not.
What was racist? What was xenophobic? And what was a lie? Jayapal. Yeah, there was.
I can't.
Right. They can't give you examples. She's just like, he's a liar. He's a misogynist. He's a xenophobe. Okay, whatever. We've heard this for 9 years. Shut up.
The White House released another video of DJ Daniel talking about his illness, talking about his recovery. This is just a small piece of it. Just what a neat kid. Here he is.
5 months to live. I'm going to keep on going until my gas tanks run out. And that's when God calls you home. You never know when God's going to call you home. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for my dad I know he's pretty proud of me, and I'm pretty proud of him too. And I'd like to thank President Trump, because if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be here today.
So just remember that, okay? Because what you're about to hear are two MSNBC hosts who should be fired on the spot and who should be banished from society forever, from polite society, because Nicole Wallace and Rachel Maddow are disgusting pieces of shit.
The worst, the absolute worst. Yeah.
I cannot believe what they said about DJ Daniel. We'll start with Nicole because hers is a little bit longer. I don't even know what to say about it. Here it is.
I think this was a lesson in finding one thing that you let yourself feel. And I let myself feel joy about DJ. And I hope he's alive for another, 95 years, right? And I hope he lives and the life he wants to live. He wants to be a cop. He knows what he wants to do. And maybe when you have childhood cancer, that crystallizes for you. And I hope he has a long life as a law enforcement officer. But I hope he never has to defend the United States Capitol against Donald Trump's supporters. And if he does, I hope he isn't one of the 6 who loses his life to suicide. And I hope he isn't one who has to testify against the people who carried out acts of seditious conspiracy and then live to see Donald Trump pardon those people.
Okay. This is my take on that. Nicole Wallace has a condition that, in my opinion, is worse than any cancer. And I feel that way because it's curable. She could cure it, but she refuses to cure it because she is an insufferable hose beast, right? God help her and the people who are like her. She will never be as good as that little boy.
Oh my God.
She will never be as wonderful and sweet and kind and selfless as that little boy. And she'll never know God. She'll never understand what it's like to be him, and that sucks for her, right? It totally sucks for her. It sucks for Rachel Maddow and all the Rachel Maddows and the Nicole Wallaces of the world. It sucks for them.
I guess I couldn't imagine them becoming worse than they already were.
Yeah.
And so to hear Nicole say that, and then to hear Rachel Maddow say this.
For the record, and this is disgusting, the president made a spectacle out of praising a young man who's thus far survived pediatric cancer.
I cannot believe she's criticizing, and that young man obviously really appreciated what Trump did.
Yeah, he
so
did.
Who is Rachel to criticize it?
Right. Hate like that will just eat you from the inside out. And we are watching it with so many people, with all those people that didn't stand for anything that's good. Like they didn't stand. And then with this shit, like these people who are just incapable of seeing anything good because they're so overcome with hate for one man.
Yep.
Shame on them. I feel sorry. Yep. I mean, I really do feel sorry for people like that because they're so overcome with they're blinded. I mean, they are their whole bodies are just overcome with hate. It's too bad for them.
To be them. It
sucks. It really sucks to be them. I'm so glad I'm not like them. And you guys should thank God that you're not like them too.
Do you remember when Jasmine Crockett, it was a week or so ago, when some reporter got into her face outside and was like, if you could see Trump right now, or if you could see Elon, I don't even remember which one of the two they were asking for her comment on, what would you say? And she was just like, F off. Remember?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that same reporter caught up with her after the speech and asked her for basically another chance to say what she would say to Trump. And so here's that moment.
Thank you for making the back of my head famous. But second of all, if we could do a sequel, if you could tell him.
I would tell him to grow a spine and stop being Putin's hoe.
Did you guys hear that?
All I heard was I would stop. I would tell him to grow a spine and stop being Putin's hoe.
Okay, so it did play. I think I froze for a minute because the winds are coming.
It did. It locked up for a second, but she did say I would tell him to grow a spine and stop being Putin's hoe. Is what she said.
I mean, these people are ill. There's something wrong. There's something seriously wrong.
Right.
Yes. Okay. Anyway, you guys, if you did not watch the whole dang thing, you need to go back and watch the whole dang thing because it was absolutely worth every single moment of
it really was. It really was. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. And we do have some unusual sort of My Pillow Talks. We're actually we're kicking it off with a clip from the most god-awful show that nobody should pay any attention to or watch on Netflix. It's that new Meghan Markle show. Excuse me. She doesn't want to be called that. Not even by her friends, who she apparently feels very, very comfortable scolding on her new stupid Martha Stewart copycat show. Here she is with Mindy Kaling, who is trying to compliment her, but Meghan doesn't hear it because all she hears is herself being called Meghan Markle. Check this out.
I don't think anyone in the world knows that Meghan Markle has eaten Jack in the Box and loves it.
It's so funny, too, that you keep saying Meghan Markle. You know I'm Sussex now. You have kids and you go, no, I share my name with my children.
Yes.
And that feels so, I didn't know how meaningful it would be to me, but it just means so much to go, this is our family name.
I can't.
God, I cannot express to you how much I loathe her.
She's awful.
She is insufferable in every way. I hope that this tanks. It is like the last straw for her when it comes to Netflix. They will not give them anything else after this. And I really, truly feel like it will tank because she is that awful.
Well, it's coming in as 6th right now, which is a disappointment. I mean, so there's a lot of people hate watching, but it's still not enough to take her to the #1 viewed show.
I don't think hate watching is
awful.
I don't think the hate watching is going to do it. And did you see Mindy, what's her name? Kalig, whatever her name is. Did you see her face when she was like, I'm Sussex? It's like if I said to you off the air, listen, you have to call me honorable at all times. Don't you know who I am? Don't
oh my God.
No.
Just awful. Awful.
The worst person ever. She's just dreadful. Yeah.
This next one just took me back, man. Did you ever used to come home from elementary school and immediately sit down and watch Little House on the Prairie?
Yes. And listen,
yes,
not gonna lie, as I got a little bit older, had a little bit of a thing for Pa. Not gonna lie.
Who didn't love Pa?
All right, good. I'm not the only one. Pa.
Oh my God. Pa was so hot.
Pa was hot, you guys.
Yeah.
Pa
was totally hot. And he's hot in this clip. You're about to see a clip.
Okay, good. All right.
Yes. Everybody. I keep seeing this everywhere because of the price of eggs, you guys. This is how everybody feels about eggs now. Behold.
Come on, what's the matter? What's wrong with your skirt?
Oh, it's all right, Charles. I'm just fine.
You're crying. You're not just fine. What's wrong?
He's hot.
No. I broke the egg.
She broke the egg. She broke up.
Oh my God, I died laughing at that because it's so true, right? You break an egg now and that's money.
I know, right? But
That
then she
is
was
money.
like, Pa, make me feel better. Make me feel better about breaking the eggs.
But even back in the day, women would be like, no, I'm fine.
So true.
You know?
Right?
Because
Yeah.
she just didn't want to tell him at first. She was like, no, I'm fine. And he's
And
like,
now his daughter is on Yellowstone. Isn't that crazy? Jen
his
Landon.
actual daughter?
His actual daughter in real life, Jen Landon, plays Teeter in Yellowstone. Isn't that crazy?
Oh my gosh, that's
I know.
crazy.
It is
Wow.
crazy. Mhm.
All right, just a couple more. First of all, penguins. How cute are they? Right? There's a little baby penguin who has a
I pet
favorite.
them.
I know.
You pet everything, but I actually had a penguin experience. I got to pet them. They're so cute.
So cute. And this one has a favorite caretaker who he's very, very excited to see.
Darling. And Flappy.
So flappy.
They're so cute and flappy. They have neat little personalities. Very, very
Mhm.
cute.
Super cute. We also have a cat who dumped
Oh, yeah.
out his whole entire food container and made a humongous mess. And this owner is not going to put up with that cat not participating in the cleanup. Here he is.
Helping. You did it. You're helping. You're going to pick us up one little kernel at a time. And you're going to like it. Because I'm fucking fed up with your bullshit. I'm gonna be a horrible father one day because of you fucks.
That poor cat is like, why did I do that?
Having all the
regret. Yeah.
And then lastly, babies, you guys.
Babies.
This father is teaching his baby young how to be ready to take on a threat. Here he is.
You gotta always be ready, son. You always be sleeping enough. Hey, yeah, that's right. Hey, that's my boy right there. He's on top of it.
That is precious.
Ready, man.
Yeah.
He's
ready to go. Yeah.
Okay, we have some thank yous from yesterday from our broadcast crew. Rebel Queen 1965 said, TCB taking care of business. Melania, she was referring to Melania yesterday in that outfit. Remember, because we were like, she's got the power suit on again.
Yeah, pantsuit.
Yeah.
She had a power pantsuit on.
Mm-hmm. And then also from the ball pit, from Kelly 106 or 1106 said, it's sad that he hates Putin more than he loves his people and his country, obviously referring to Zelensky.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's another one from the ball pit crew from Zigzag who said, cool show. Hell yeah. Keep me welding, ladies. Have a super MAGA day.
Okay. I love that.
Refers to, but love that.
Mm-hmm.
And then from Venmo, I think it was, we had something from Marin Brandenburg, who said to pronounce it, think Mars without the S in, not out. Marin. For good boy Coda, he learned from his big brother Kash to be the best COTR mascot. It is so calming to have a Great Dane in the background again. Small amount of money so I can support your sponsors.
I'll have to open my door tomorrow. I think he's actually with his daddy right now getting coffee. He does that a couple days a week. They go and they get pup cups with their dad. So I'll have to open my door tomorrow. Okay,
and then
ready?
Today, we also on Venmo from Autumn Venata, who said, shout out to whoever created the word plethora. It means a lot. It is dad joke. Do you get it?
I do. I get it. I totally get it.
And then from Kelly Wiseman, she says, happy dad joke Wednesday, you big jerks. How do you get an astronaut's baby to sleep? You rock it. XOXO.
I get it. I totally get it.
Okay, now you.
Are you ready? Brian Brumley. I knew a guy who was addicted to buying yachts. His doctor gave him an anti-buy yacht. Like, that's what you get for giving me up too late. Take my money. That was a good one. Deb Anderson. Dad joke Wednesday. My dad's favorite dad joke. How can you tell the difference between an oral thermometer and a rectal thermometer? The taste.
Ew. That is vile.
Robert Clark, Dad joke Wednesday. A Freudian slip is when you say one thing and mean your mother. Karen Elliott. Next time a lib whines about government not getting anything done, show the video of Jazzy Crackpot dancing in the hall. Love you, chicks.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Karen. Stevie J. I hate to agree with John.
That's
Stevie
a lot
J.
of money.
Oh, that is. Oh my gosh. Thank you, Stevie. I hate to agree with John Fetterman, but he was right when he said, I am elected to represent the people. No matter which political party they follow and no matter who the president is, I am here to work with the president for the betterment of the people. Totally right. Yeah,
I agree. See him. Did anybody else see him last night?
Fetterman?
Was he there?
He probably was there. I don't know. Maybe he was sitting on our maybe he was sitting on our side clapping. Mm-hmm. Robin Dye, JD, button your suit jacket.
Was he unbuttoned?
I didn't notice that. Yeah, I don't mind that either. It's for them to be kind of casual. At least you wore a suit, right?
Mm.
Lori Weens, an 18-count carton of eggs is now over $5. I used to be able to buy a 60-count carton for $8. My store doesn't even carry the 60-count cases anymore. Yeah, I don't think I could find a 60-count one either. Marcus Drake, Trump holds the record for most documented standing ovations, over 70 for his 2018 SOTU address. Last night, he got between 89 and 100, an epic speech. Yes, it was epic. Kim Poole, so thankful for the COTR family. Love you, ladies. Thanks for all you do. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Ken Burke, speech was awesome. Thanks, chicks from Florida. Sunny Florida. I'm heading there next week.
That's right.
So that should be kind of fun. Aaron Powers, did I ever tell you guys that I used to date somebody with a wooden leg? It ended when I broke it off. I'm really sorry for this one. Happy Dad Joke Wednesday, jerk. Take my money. Andrea Viola. Nicole Wallace just admitted what we all have known, that the cops self-deleted and were not deleted by January 6th, which was the original narrative.
Mm-hmm. Good point.
Mm-hmm. Brian Brunley. There's a special place in hell for those two. Yeah, I'm assuming Nicole Wallace and Rachel Maddow.
Rachel, yeah.
Jose Rodriguez. Morning from Texas. I watched the whole dang thing. Now take my whole dang money. Thank you, Jose. BTK, great show, Honorable Mock and Daisy. It's honorable. We're all honorable. Lori Weens, Michael Landon's son, Michael Jr., is the creator of When Calls the Heart on Hallmark, and Melissa Gilbert has guest starred on it recently and will be again this Sunday. That's so interesting. It all comes full circle, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Don Quixote, Dad Joke Wednesday. Why do you always tell an actor going into an audition to break a leg? Because that's how they end up in the cast. Happy hump day, y'all.
I get it.
Get it. Wendy, Dad Joke Wednesday. Why don't eggs tell jokes? They mightn't. Cracks up. Take my sweaty pennies. Jose Rodriguez. Why do melons have weddings? They cantaloupe. They cantaloupe. Sorry. I did not deliver that well. I'm sorry. Take my money again. Thank you, Jose.
Thank you, guys.
It was a late night last night. We're going to try to actually get some sleep tonight, both of us. And everybody have a fantastic hump day. We will talk to you tomorrow. Bye, everybody.
Hello, beautiful people. This is the Chicks on the Right's Indian correspondent. Thank you for watching or listening. Be very sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell to stay up to date on all of their delicious content. Okay, thank you. Come again.